My name is Parama Karuna Devi, and this is the video about questions and answers that we have had during one of our Zoom Satsang meetings. The episode that I'm presenting to you now is focused on questions about karma and how karma can change. Next video will be uploaded soon. Namaste. Jai Jagannath.
Okay. Okay, so the question is,
Yes.
I'm currently in 4th chapter of your commentary on Bhagavad Gita, and I came across this one sentence. I'll just read it out. It says, karma is constantly changing with each action or inaction of ours, and can even be neutralized or overcome completely by new and suitable actions. My question is, I've also heard that you have to go through the karmic cycles. If you've done some karma and if those are already fructified, you have to bear the consequences. There is, for positive, you will get good, positive reactions. For negative karmas, you will get negative action and negative reactions. This neutralizing thing, is it possible? Is it, how to understand this?
Yes. Okay. Now, the description of Bhagavad Gita is specifically saying that the knowledge can burn the karma. Right? You remember that. Now, karma comes, the karmic reactions come, as you have correctly said, in different stages of development. So there is the sanchita karma, the prarabdha karma, so they can be compared to the fruits, the seeds, the plant. So they're all different stages of development. So the karma that has not started to sprout, to manifest yet, is compared to the seed. Then we have the plant that is grown from the seed, and finally we have the fruits that are produced by the plant. Now, the karmic seeds are the tendencies, the habits, the conditionings, the identifications, the attachments, which are easier to destroy through knowledge and effort, because you do something good and you automatically will drop the bad things. Like Krishna says in Gita, parandrishva nivartate. If you get something better, this better thing will, automatically, eventually destroy the bad things. A good habit destroys a bad habit. You have seen that. So if you want to lose a bad habit, you have to replace it with a good habit. So the habits and tendencies, desires, and everything, they're compared like the seeds, karmic seeds. Now, when these choices you have done in the past, with the habits, the tendencies you have developed in the past, have already become manifested in a life situation. Like, for example, let's say we talk about a crime. Okay, for example, stealing. Now, the karmic seed in the case of the bad karma of stealing is that you get the habit. You think you get the mentality of the thief. So you are one, not you, of course, but you are generally ready. Your mind is jumping to the idea of stealing. So easily. It's a habit. So when you see something that you would like to have, immediately automatically your mind is jumping to the idea, okay, let's take it, what's a big problem? But with knowledge and determination and replacing the bad tendency with a good habit, you can burn these karmic seeds quite easily. Now, the point is, if you don't burn these karmic seeds, they will eventually sprout. They become a plant. The plant can be compared to the actual engagement in stealing. So you have already organized the next robbery or heist, as they say, the next stealing campaign. So you are already engaged in that campaign. This is more difficult to stop. But still you can do it. You can burn your karma, you can undo that karma, but you have to work more. You have to convince the other, companions that stealing is not a good idea. You have to get a better job. You have to reorganize your life. You have to work more. And also you have to repay what you have already stolen. So you have, when you steal, when you cause damage or suffering, or in any way you make a, you perform a bad action, you create a debt, karmic debt. The karmic reaction is actually a debt, so you have to pay it. It's not that you say, oh, I know I'm not the carta, I'm not a thief, so I will not get any reaction. Nah, not exactly. You can do that in the first stage of seed. If you convince yourself, I'm not a thief, I should not steal. Easier. When you have already stolen, you cannot escape the reaction just by saying, oh, I'm not a thief, this doesn't, I shouldn't think about these things. You have to pay what, the damage you've done. And that takes more work. Now, the last stage of the development of karma is the present karma, the fruits of karma. Like police found you out and you're going to jail. That is even more difficult to destroy as a karmic reaction. So in that case, you have to tolerate, and still do the right things. Like, for example, first of all, you convince yourself, you burn further seeds, you convince yourself, I don't want to be a thief. Second of all, you have to convince others. You have to repay your debt. You say, sorry, I was stupid, I stole from you, let's find an arrangement. So they may drop charges, but then there's still, if you have a sentence that is, in force, you still have to go through some difficulties in order to get out of jail. It's not so easy. Because even if the people you stole from, even if your victims are pacified and they drop the charges, still you have to serve the sentence. Because once you have been, judged and sentenced, you are in jail. It's not that, everything magically disappears like in time travel, science fiction. You still have the karmic consequences to deal with. Does this answer your question?
Yes. So, like, while the third part, while serving the sentence, that can't be neutralized, that you have to go. Only the
Well,
tendencies and
you can also negotiate with the police, with the government. You can, if you behave nicely, they can give you, some kind of grace, or suspension of the time serving, or parole. You can get out on parole. There's things you can do. You don't
but at
just.
least some part you have to go through. So like when
Yeah,
Krishna says
exactly,
that
exactly. You have to
mokshayami ma
know that
shucha, so
not everything can be destroyed magically.
okay. So while
Even
Krishna
if you
says
work.
that sarva dharman parityajya, so when he says that from your papas I'll give you moksha,
Oh,
so
right.
is that
Yes.
that is complete, or that part, at that point also there's some part you have to go through?
No,
Okay.
no, no. Wait. Krishna is not saying, I will liberate you from the consequence of pap. He says, I will liberate you from pap, not from the consequences of pap.
Okay.
That's a different thing.
So that is the
Krishna
first
is
part
saying,
when we
Aham
were
tvam
thinking.
sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami. I will liberate you from all the sins. Means, if you surrender to me, you'll become conscious of Atman, Brahman, Bhagavan, Paramatma. You will stop doing stupid things.
So your tendencies of that first part what we discussed.
Exactly.
Automatically. Okay.
The tendencies also, God will help because God is the supreme authority, can help. If you do something good, if you start doing good things, but because Krishna in Bhagavad Gita is also saying that you have to work for the benefit of all beings. It's not that if you just surrender to me and you mistreat the other beings. It's not working like that. Sarva dharma parityaja, it means sarva dharman, the different dharmas. Krishna is speaking about the swadharma, the varnashrama dharma, not about the actual universal principles of dharma. The plural is important. We need to appreciate the actual language. To actually be able to distinguish the actual meaning of the actual words, and in which context, in which position in the verse, and what Krishna is actually saying. This is why it's so difficult to find some translation presentations of the Gita that are really to the point. Because, you just change a little bit in the translation and you can get in trouble. So some people, based on this verse, they think if they officially declare themselves to be devotees of Krishna or ISKCON or whatever, automatically they get a free ticket out of jail without doing anything else. But this is an Abrahamic concept. This is the typical concept. You accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior, and all your sins will disappear. You'll become a great saint immediately. You don't need to do anything else. And Protestant Christians are even more radical than Catholics in this, because they openly say that your actions have no relevance in your salvation. You understand? So this is the problem. So this idea is a misconception, because the karma is not going to disappear like that. You still have, if you want, to follow this verse and become free from your pap, aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayasami, you need to actually follow Krishna's instructions during the Bhagavad Gita. How many times Krishna has said that you have to work for the benefit of all beings? Yesham tvantagatam papam. Those who have completely given up all the bad actions, then they can become my devotees. So, when Krishna is saying, Sarva dharman parityaja mamekam sharanam vraja, what does that mean? It means, to the light of all the other teachings of Krishna in the Gita previously, because this is in the end of Bhagavad Gita, so we shouldn't forget the previous instructions. So Krishna has explained that in order to become truly immersed in this consciousness, to surrender to God, who is God. You need to actually behave like Brahman. You have to work for the benefit of all beings. You have to give up identifications, material attachments. This means that you are not bound by the rules of Varnashram. You just do what is best for all beings. This is what Adi Shankar did, by the way. By making these major reforms about the sannyasa, the order of sannyas, this is exactly what he did. He followed the instruction of Gita, Sarva Dharman Parityaja Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. So, in this verse, Krishna is saying we should focus on the spirit of the instruction, not on the letter of the instruction. The rules of Varna, Shrama, Dharma are very good, are scientific and everything, but they're not the purpose of life. They're just an instrument. They're just a method. They're not the purpose. They're not the goal. So if we just connect directly to God, to Bhagavan, on a transcendental level, beyond the Varnashrama system, on the actual spiritual, transcendental level, then we don't do any pap. So the problem, you remember, in the second chapter, in the first chapter, first and second, Arjuna was worried because engaging in fighting in the Kurukshetra meant that he had to go against the Varnashrama system. He had to kill his own family, friends, and elders, and teachers and everything. So this is against the Varnashrama system. Krishna said, okay, give up this is weakness, because you have to do, your actual duty is to work for the benefit of all beings, without being conditioned by any particular position, because particular positions are identifications and attachments. We need to use identification and attachment, not be used by them. Are you following?
Yes.
Okay. Does this answer your question?
Yes. Perfect.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Good. Manisha, welcome. Any other question?
I have one, like, as in, I don't know whether it is relevant, as in, I'm not the candidate to understand it, but still I'll try to ask.
It's okay, don't worry. Ask any question.
So, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his Shikshashtakam says, Mama Janmani Janmanishware, and many other saints also, they want Punarjanma. Why? So is it after liberation, bhakti is not possible? Is it that way? That once you become Videha, as in you leave this material body, is bhakti not possible?
Yes, for the same reason that we just mentioned. And I think your subconscious or superconscious picked up on it. Because even the avatars come and take birth, for this mission, to help, to work for the benefit of all beings. This is a liberated position. The Jivan Muktas, the avatars, they take birth. They don't take birth because they're forced to, but because they want to. They want, they decide, they go through the difficulties to work for the benefit of all beings. It doesn't matter if they have more or less control over the material elements of their body. The point is that they're free in the sense they're choosing to do something. They're not forced. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So when the avatar can also take birth in difficult circumstances. We have seen the avatar, even the greatest avatars, go through lots of difficulties. But that is because they have a mission. They have to give the good example to people how to face difficulties, how to go through difficulties, how to work for the benefit of everyone. And in the meantime, they also give some good teachings. But the most important mission of the avatar is not so much to give teachings, is to give a good example to people, good inspiration to people.
Okay.
The point is that unfortunately, people who have less knowledge, less understanding, less realization, tend to pick and choose, like cherry picking, what they like in the leelas of the avatars, and then they don't understand the other part. So, either they lose their faith or, they deny. But, like, for example, we have lots of situations that are not very clearly explored by devotees sometimes because they don't like so much. And because they're not explained properly, people who have a wrong understanding of the concept of God and avatar, they come to wrong conclusions. Let's make, we were discussing about the idea that many people have when they speak about gods. They think that gods are just like regular beings, but only more powerful than humans. So in the popular understanding, anyone who is a little more powerful than ordinary human beings is a god. He is a god of cricket. He is a god of finance. He is a god of this and that. The problem is that not everything that is worshipped by ignorant people is likely to be God. There are so many more powerful entities, that are more powerful than human beings, but they're definitely not gods. So they confuse Ravana is a god. No. Asuras are not gods. They think, oh, Krishna is a Hindu god. No, Krishna is not a god. Krishna is an avatar of God. Krishna is God with a big G. Oh no, but what happens if Krishna and Rama had a fight? Who will win? Who is more powerful? This is, this kind of questions sometimes people ask are very stupid. It shows that they don't understand what the idea of God is. And this goes, for example, to illuminate the issue very contemporary relevant issue of the ancient aliens. Ancient astronauts, ancient aliens. This guy, what is his name? Amish Tripathi, who wrote this Shiva trilogy. When he's saying that Shiva was a regular human being, but he did great things, and then he became a god. Became known as a god. This is offensive because these people don't understand what they're talking about. This is a very superficial mentality that projects the limitations of ordinary human beings on Brahman. So Brahman doesn't have any limitation of time, space, and individuality. And Bhagavan is Brahman. Is not a material personality. You understand the problem? So this means that when we have a limited mentality, limited understanding about the concept of God, the concept of Lila, we don't understand why God descends. We don't understand what is the idea of avatar. And we don't understand what is the idea of reincarnation of regular human beings. What is the difference between the Janma of Krishna and the Janma of an ordinary human being? Janma karma chame divyam evam yovetti tattva. The Janma karma chame divyam. The Janma and the karma of the avatar is divine. Is not an ordinary material personality. It's not an ordinary material body. Now, the focus of the mission can be different. Like Krishna was interested in showing, Maya. So we have so many leelas of Krishna, especially as a child. He was doing a lot of Maya. He was having a lot of fun, with Maya. He was showing all the Virat Rupa in his mouth, inside his mouth. Or, he was manifesting as a great number of himself to dance with each one of the gopis. Krishna was doing a lot of Maya. This is very interesting, fascinating. Rama was not. Rama was just behaving like the perfect prince. He didn't manifest any mystical thing. The only time when, he bent Shiva's bow, then people were surprised, but otherwise he was just behaving like a human being. Margina de Purushottama. Just the best of human beings, but human being, nonetheless.
So this is for avatars. We can tell all these things, but for the devotees, like what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is displaying, or the Namdev, the devotees who, in their praises of Lord, it appears that they want to incarnate to taste the sweetness of Lord, or to taste the rasa of bhakti. So, is that bhakti rasa available only in human birth? After liberation, is it not available? Why they want birth? Can't they get liberation and taste the rasa of bhakti? Because that's what, in Shikshashtakam also, he says that I want your bhakti life after life.
Yes.
So, is it?
This means that okay, we are talking about the mentality of a devotee. Which is not necessarily a mentality of the Jivan Mukta, which is not necessarily the mentality of the avatar. A devotee is finding rasa, is finding satisfaction, happiness in the service, in the relationship with God. Whether by taking repeated births or not, it doesn't matter. Even if the devotee is going to accept the task of taking birth again and again in this world to help the mission, to serve the mission of Bhagavan, that's not a big problem. Because the devotee is already happy, doesn't need anything else to be happy. A devotee knows that he is doing some work, and this is why he is here, not for other reasons. You understand? So, Mama Janmani, birth after birth, I don't care if I have to take birth again and again. It's not a problem, If I can do so, I'm happy. Because the difficulties of the material body, the material mind, the material world, are just like, annoyances, but they come with the job. So you're not feeling frustrated or unhappy or anything. You're just, okay, well, yeah, birth, death, old age, and disease happen. We have to tolerate, we have this, adhyatmika, the bhautika, the daivika klesha. Yeah, normal, Krishna is saying in Gita. Brahma Bhuvan Loka, Dukhalayam Asaswatam. All the planets from the lowest to the highest in this material world are places where people suffer, and they're temporary. So it's a temporary suffering that we gladly accept, not that we pursue, that we want to suffer. No, not stupid, but we accept because it's a small price to pay to engage in the service of Bhagavan.
So in liberated state, can't we engage in service of Bhagavan?
Yeah.
In liberation, as in after leaving the body and not taking birth.
Yes. So, that is actually
because I think in Bhagavatam, or I think in Rasamrit Sindhu, it is, I don't know where, but I've heard it so many times that the devotee don't want moksha. So
they don't want moksha in the sense they don't want kaivalya moksha.
Okay.
They don't want a moksha that means that they just go on vacation. They want to do some good work because that makes them happier than going on vacation in the Brahmajyoti. The Brahmajyoti is the cessation of suffering, is what the Buddhists call nirvana. But nirvana, if you are not actively engaged in the benefit of all beings, this para upakara, salvation, bhutation. If you're not engaged in working for the benefit of all beings, it's boring. It's not the best thing. Let's make a comparison. Like, you really like your job. Okay, you have a wonderful job, a job that really makes you happy. If someone is telling you you can go on vacation for 1 month on a beach and doing nothing, what do you choose? Even if your job is a job, it's not just a game, means you have to actually put effort and undergo some tapas, tapasya, some austerity, some concentration, some energy. You have to focus, you have to face some difficulties, but still is better than just sitting there and not doing anything. Because if God himself comes to do this job, if so many Jivan Muktas and avatars and associates of God come to do this job, and you don't want to do the job, you want to go to sit on a beach, it doesn't make sense. You understand?
Yeah.
So again, I think that this verse you were this passage you were quoting, we have to go and see exactly the quote. What were the exact words? Because sometimes we misunderstand, we misinterpret, especially if it is a second-hand understanding. People just give us the translation or the meaning, but without the original quote. It can be dangerous because, there could be so many cultural or mental superimpositions that the original thing was very different. Gets layered up with other things that are not really useful.
Okay.
So yeah, this is.
Namaste, Mataji. Namaste, Mataji.
Hey, namaste. Thank you for coming. So
I've been hearing about you quite a lot, but then happened to see you today only.
Okay, welcome.
So nice seeing you. Yes, Ritvik ji and Arun ji, and we have a group where we discuss Upanishads.
Yeah, they told me. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was very keen meeting you once you had come in our group also. But that day I couldn't attend the session because I was busy somewhere. But so I really felt that I could not see Mataji and could not meet. So now it's the opportunity.
Okay. Actually, I added you to the WhatsApp group, so you can see when we are meeting, when I'm opening the room for the meeting.
Yes,
because last year I had established some fixed dates once a week, but that became a little weird because sometimes nobody would show up.